Surprise, motherfucker.
Yes, guys, good evening all. Welcome to the Fleur Hour. Tonight we are welcomed by, well, he's a permanent fixture now, Rhys David Evans. Welcome, Rhys. Cheers, buddy, for stepping in again.
Evening.
Top man. And we are also welcomed this evening by Lewis Moore. Welcome, Lewis. How you doing, buddy?
Right.
Yeah, all good. So, yeah, just a bit of a random one tonight. Lewis, for people who don't know, is my cousin. Lewis is a season ticket holder up at Merthyr. So I thought with obviously the fixture, Cardiff under 21s last night, playing against Merthyr in the, what's it called? Is it the Welsh Cup?
Nathaniel Cup, I think it is.
Yeah. I thought we'd get him on. So, yeah, thanks, Lou, for jumping on, but and we'll have a little chat about the game last night, about Merthyr season in general, and to talk about all things that's going on with Cardiff City at the moment. But yes, all good. So, guys, any comments in the chat? Fire them in, and we'll try and answer them as we go. But before we start, just a big shout out to our sponsors. The logo's in the top corner, AJM Embroidery and Print. There's a banner going across the bottom of the screen. They do all types of embroidery and print on, uniforms, jumpers, T-shirts, rugby kits, football kits. So hit them up if you're looking for that type of stuff. So let's get into it then. We'll start straight away with Cardiff. And are we surprised Reece's bullet still there?
No, I messaged you, I think, Saturday night. I told you I'd heard something from in the club. So I could see him stay in after that. I'm surprised that he hasn't turned nasty though, very toxic yet. I think it's Saturday now. I think it could go bad if we can see it early. I think that could be it then.
And I hope it doesn't, because Saturday should all, is all about Sol Bamba, and it's been a big build-up this week to what Saturday's all about. They got a big fundraising event down the club Friday, and I just hope the atmosphere doesn't turn sour just for that reason, really. I hope we get bums on seats Saturday and get as many in there as we can, just so we can honour, the great man.
It's a bit crazy, because I think if we beat Leeds on Saturday, all of a sudden the mood changes.
Yeah.
If we beat Leeds, all of a sudden everyone's happy again, and give him another game. Let's see what we can do. Then get another game. So it's a must-win game for him, I think, personally, though.
And that's what the championship football is all about, don't it? On the day, anybody can beat anybody. And you can go on a run of losing 3, 4, 5 games. And on the flip side of that, then you can go and win 4 or 5 games. I think, as a Cardiff fan and, going down and watching a moment away, it's just that the way we're playing football at the moment is just, it's not up to where we need to be, is it?
No.
What's your thoughts, Lou? I don't know how much of Cardiff you're watching nowadays. Is it you just catch the results, but or do you try?
I can't remember last time I watched. I think the last time I watched Cardiff was their. In fact, it was a derby. It was just before COVID, actually. So it's been a long time since I went to to Cardiff City Stadium to watch Cardiff play. But the last time was at 0-0 with Swansea. But I don't know. I still follow a lot of boys on Cardiff Twitter, and it's just all negative, isn't it? So it just doesn't. No one really seems that happy about it. People who go away obviously love it, but everyone who goes to home games just says how bad the football is. And I suppose under Warnock back a few years ago, you can sort of put up with it if you're playing if you're not playing attractive football, but you're winning every game, it's not so bad then. But when it's the other way around, you're not playing great football, and you haven't got no one standing out. It's negative, and half time you can't be asked to go and watch a game either. So yeah,
again, the atmosphere at the Cardiff City Stadium with the we say the Canton end on the opposite end of the stadium to where the away supporters are is, that atmosphere is killed straight away for me. I know, Reece, you've mentioned that a few times, haven't you? Because you just sit in the Canton down that end, don't you?
Yeah, we can't. Then the atmosphere is destroyed anyway because we're so far away from the away fans. There's no atmosphere. There's no banter back and forth. It kills in the atmosphere for us and started.
Yeah,
I do. It's so far away from the away fans. But again, I think last year, I can't remember who we played in. It might have been Birmingham. We were losing 1-0, and the crowd in the Canton turned on Wintle, and it got nasty. There was a group of fans on the side, and it just went really bad. And we finished 12th last season, which is crazy. So I think that's the worry for Saturday for me now.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we go. As I mentioned to you, but before we come on live, I went up to Derby on the weekend, and the away fans. I've never been to an away game, and it's been as negative. My personal opinion, as what it was on Saturday. I think after the final whistle, only 2 players come over and thanked the away fans for travelling, and it was just at one point they were singing we're shit and you're only winning 1-0, like, I'm thinking it's just not good, like, but it is what it is, and things can only get better, hopefully. So let's dive straight into and ask Lewis some questions about Merthyr then. So obviously they played in the Nathaniel Cup last night, Cardiff under-21s. Reece, I think you've seen a bit of it, did you?
I watched the game last night.
Yeah, terrible.
The audio was awful. I thought Reindorf looked good, mind.
Yeah.
He scored twice.
He looks
goals earlier.
Yeah. He looks. I can't believe he didn't play Saturday. Put Ashford on instead. Ashford's a winger for me. He's not a striker.
No.
But I think that now means he won't play Saturday, so there's no point looking for him on the bench on the weekend, I think.
Have you heard anything about Robinson then? Because he wasn't involved in the squad again Saturday, was he? Did he pick up a knock? Did he go on international duty and pick up a knock?
I'm not hearing the thing. I know he went to Ireland, but I don't know if he's taken an injury or came back not looking sharp. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if that's one of the changes Bullock was trying to make. I don't know why if that's the case. I don't think
he's done anything wrong. He scored 6 or 7 goals
exactly
in the season, and we haven't seen him.
20 minutes here and there. I mean, absolutely. No offense. If you're going to make a statement, drop Kanga for starters. Why play Rawls instead of Robson? There's no mobility there. And again, NG was out to Singapore with being introduced to him, and he plays on the weekend. And again, he's been awful so far for us. So whatever changes he's making,
they took him off half time Saturday and brought that Will Fish on.
I know, but look at Kate Parky. I'm thinking, what more can he do? He had a storm in pre-season. He looked sharp in the cup. What was that for me?
Last night?
I thought he looked good. The only thing was, though, I thought it looked like he'd been asked to play an inverted right back role. He kept cutting inside, coming in the middle, holding the middle centre midfield position in possession. Where he looks better on the overlap and getting forward a bit more, staying wide. But yeah, again, I don't know what more he has to do to get ahead of NG, because NG is just not at it at the minute.
No,
he's got NG Perry because he was like one of the best players, wasn't he, last year or year before?
He's had player of the year last 2 years, hasn't he?
Yes, top goal scorer and everything.
There's been rumours, I've heard a few rumours that he's fallen out with the manager, and I think he was quite pally with Wintle because I believe they both played together at Crewe, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I think when Wintle obviously fell out of favour, I think sometimes it can have a bit of a knock-on effect, and you put 2 and 2 together, and I know sometimes you might come up with 6, but since Christmas last year, I would say Perry NG hasn't been the same player for us. Would you agree with that, Reece?
Yeah, to be fair, half the team weren't up to scratch after Christmas. I don't know what happened. I think actually it was the start of November. I think our form just dropped. We stopped playing the high press. We stopped dominating games, and it looked like everyone took their foot off the gas. And after that, then he was just like scraping a win here, scrape a win there, a 1-0. I think a few of them took their foot off the gas, but something happened to Perry because his performances have just dropped. I don't know if he's been asked to play a different way of playing. I don't know what's going on there, but he's just not looking the same.
Yeah. Any other standout players for Cardiff 21s last night, Bud?
They look good. I think they all looked alright, to be fair, but for me, Rindolph was a standout for me. I think you could see his quality. He might not be championship striker yet, but he's clearly better than the under-23s at the minute. So he should be around the first team a lot more, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair point, Bud. Fair point. Impressed with any...
Trey George played well, didn't he? I think Trey George played quite well. But I didn't go last night, but a few of the Merthyr boys went down and they said that Trey George had a good game. One of the boys said he's the best player on the pitch. So I think he's one to look out for the future.
Yeah.
Based on what he said.
I think, Lou, you said Merthyr pretty much picked the strongest side they could last night, but am I right in saying that?
Yeah, so they played on the weekend, but they've had a few injuries recently, and obviously playing a lot of games at the moment. It seems to be Saturday, Tuesday every week at the moment, and it's the same again now for next week. But we've got a few injuries to key players as well. But I think they did go pretty strong last night, because I've seen the lineup and I've seen the manager's comments from the interview on Saturday, and I thought they're going to play a weakened side, really, based on how many injuries they had. But a lot of it was first-team players and mainly first-team players, but a few youngsters, and the bench was mainly full of young academy players as well, which was good. So yeah, they went pretty strong. Obviously, they give it as good as they could, but a few of the boys said they did look a little bit leggy in the end. So no surprise when you're playing that many games, I suppose.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not sure who the number 4 was for Merthyr last night, but Paul in the comments said he looked a decent player for you. Guessing he's going to be one of your centre halves.
I think it might. I was number 4 last night. I think it might.
When Lewis is having a look at that, Reese
might have been Jay Williams actually.
All right, okay. Any standout players for you for Merthyr last night, Reese? Was anybody there you was impressed with?
There's one or two that had a good game, to be fair. But it's hard to tell who they were because there was no sounds. We couldn't do. Yeah. I couldn't who. That's a problem. I can't see half the numbers because the camera's on the side. So there was one or two players that were out, to be fair. But again, I couldn't tell who they were. That's a problem.
I wonder what the decision was in changing it from the Cardiff City Stadium over to Leckwith. What's all that about?
Well, it started at Leckwith first, didn't it? Because obviously City under-21s play there they play there regularly, don't they? So I expected it to be a Leckwith, and then all of a sudden it was announced as Cardiff City Stadium, and then a few people were sharing there thinking, this is brilliant opportunity for Merthyr. Great to be playing in obviously the National Stadium as well now, of course, isn't it? But and then obviously the day before then changed it back to Leckwith, and to be honest, I probably would have had a better view from my house in Bargard in comparison to some of the boys in the stands who sent photos in the group. And yeah, it's hard. It's like West Ham Stadium, isn't it? You're miles away from the pitch, so it's hard to enjoy those sort of games as well. So one reason I couldn't really be bothered to go down last. As bad as it sounds, I'm probably the worst Merthyr fan you're going to ever get on you, Matt. But
there's not many. We're out there.
We had a few down here yesterday, by all accounts. But yeah, watching football from an athletics track is a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? So
yeah, we went pre-season recently to watch Penabon.
Yeah.
You pay the tickets. They didn't even check out tickets as we walked in, and we could have watched it from outside and watched it from the fence and would have had just a better view, but it is what it is.
It's shocking.
So how did you get into supporting Merthyr, Lou? Because obviously I knew you was a big Cardiff fan back in your younger years, but I know the years are flying us by now. But
when I had a full head of hair. No, so I feel like I got a different story every time someone asks me. I always give a short version if I can't be bothered to tell people, and I've got a more detailed version when I can't be bothered to say how it happened. But I don't know if you remember. Can you remember years ago? Obviously, with the FA Cup, you'd always have teams playing. Obviously, a lot smaller teams. I remember years ago watching Man United play. I think it was Exeter, and at the time Exeter were non-league, and I'd only really got into football when I was about 12, 13, maybe a little bit older than that. And I remember seeing them play extra at their ground. So obviously you see all these massive stadiums on telly, but I'd never really seen like grounds as small as that, and obviously all the magic of the cup stuff and all that. So I was really like interested in all that. And years later, I don't know if you remember, during like the international weekend, Wales were obviously playing, so I would have watched Wales on the Friday or the Saturday, wherever it be. But Sky did a big thing with like Martin Tyler on about non-league day, and they still obviously do a lot about non-league day now. So it's always during the international break because obviously non-league football still goes on. But they'd had like a little app, and you could find your local non-league team. Well, I didn't really know much about Merthyr at the time. I didn't know they played in English system, anything like that. Obviously knew like Newport, obviously were the lowest at the time. Wrexham obviously would have been in Division 2 then back in the day. But on the app, it was like find your local non-league team. So Merthyr were on there. But it was only a few years later I thought, I'll go up and watch them. And I think it was after the Euros. And I think at the time, Cardiff had only recently just turned red and come back from being red into blue. And it was all a bit of a mess. And I wasn't going to watch Cardiff as much as I used to. But I just remember thinking, Joe, I'm going to go up Merthyr. I'm going to have a look up here. And Joe, I haven't looked back because obviously it's all the terracing up there as well. You've got pretty much the best food in non-league as well with the carbon chips and everything else. But it just felt a little bit like how it did when I used to watch Cardiff back in the day in the Green Gen. So obviously you're on the terraces, you can walk around the ground as where you want. There's no segregation really. Obviously Green Gen had a lot of segregation back in the day, didn't it? But it's just that non-league feel of it all, and it's great up there. I love it, and I haven't looked back, to be fair.
Awesome. So regarding obviously, you like you say now that the fixture list is congested. You're playing, I think you said earlier, 6 games in like 21 days.
Yeah.
So obviously that's going to affect if you're picking up injuries and things. Do you think clubs like Cardiff, Newport, even Swansea, really, because it's not far from Merthyr, should be looking after clubs like you hear all about the Cardiff players being sent out on loan to like York City and things like that? Do you think bigger clubs should be doing more to help younger, Welsh clubs?
I think, to be fair, we get a lot of the players at Newport and Cardiff and Swansea release, we normally end up picking up. But from a loan perspective, it doesn't seem to happen as much as it used to now. But yeah, I mean, it's down there. I mean, Cardiff got their own problems. Swansea the same. Obviously, Wrexham are flying, but they're obviously a little bit further up than us. But then you've also got the Welsh division as well. You've obviously got the Welsh League, the Cymru Prem and the Cymru South, Cymru North, everything else in that sort of area as well. So it's a little bit, obviously with Merthyr themselves, we normally get a little bit of a few arguments on Twitter with Welsh League fans like Barry, for example. So it's Cardiff have got to look after teams like Barry as well. If they're going to look after Merthyr, they've got to look after teams like Barry, Penabont as well. So it's difficult, really. But you've got your like Ponty as well. So yeah, it is difficult to be looking after other clubs when you've got to look after yourself first and foremost, I suppose.
Yeah, good point. You highlighted it in one of the comments you just mentioned. One of the questions I did want to post for you was for you to tell us a little bit about the famous halftime food you have up at Merthyr. I've seen a couple of videos over the years. Let the guys know a little bit more about that, but
so it's I don't know if you've seen the football page on Twitter, Footy Scran. They clocked it on, I think it was one of my photos from years ago, but it's basically a hollowed out loaf of bread, a cob of bread, filled up with chips, chuck 2 sausages in it, and then you can either have curry or gravy, really, and it's absolutely banging. I think it's only a £5. So you can't really
that's the reason you're up in Merthyr then, isn't it, really? Yeah. Let's be fair.
I went to a Wales game the other day. I paid about 10 quid for a burger and I didn't have no chips with it. So half the price, you can get it all. So yeah, that's one of the reasons, and that's probably why I've put on so much weight over the last few years, to be fair.
But not just because you're on here tonight. I think me and Reese have had conversations previously recently said about perhaps going up to watch a Merthyr game just to see what the atmosphere is like if like Cardiff are away, and perhaps that's something I'll have to get in touch with you. We'll arrange something. We'll come up and have a watch of a Merthyr game.
Yeah, get involved.
I'd love to.
Oh, go on, Reese. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say, sorry, I love to do a game like that. I think Swindon Submarine, is it Submarine?
Submarine, yeah.
In the league?
Yeah.
We had Stuart Fleetwood on a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be good if we got to see Merthyr against them, and we could go say hi to Stuart Fleetwood as well, same time.
Yeah, we had them recently. I think when did we have them? We had them last week. I think last Tuesday we beat them 5-1. So they've they've got the better of us over the last few years in a lot of fixtures, but we seem to be turning the screw now. So we've got I think I'm sure it's like a bank holiday. We might have them on this year again. So yeah, always worth popping up. But to be honest, going back to that game last night, I know for the first game, Cardiff had Avon Lido, I think, didn't they? And they reversed the fixture, so they played at Avon Lido rather than playing at the Leckwith Stadium. So I was hoping they'd do that for Merthyr, because I thought it'd be a good opportunity for Cardiff under 21s to play in front of a big crowd, because last night I think you would have got about 500, 600, 700 at Merthyr watching, so it would have been good for those as an experience.
And not only that, it would have been good for Merthyr to have had a couple of quid through the door as well. Like,
yeah,
Cardiff could have afforded. I know that obviously it's well documented that financial things are a thing, but they wouldn't have got much for that last night, surely.
No, I think it's more the 3G aspect, because we play on a 3G pitch, so I don't think Cardiff like playing on a 3G. A lot of these obviously professional teams.
Yeah, you don't see many of that, and you don't see much of that in the Championship, do you? Are they allowed to play on that type of service? Because I don't know.
I don't believe so. I think Scotland, the only league that can play on it. I think they're scrapping it, I think, soon, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. But yeah, you hear things, because I think Villa played on one last night today against Young Boys in the Champions League. So
had a good win as well, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he won 3-0, so it couldn't have been that difficult to play on. So I don't know. It's meant to be bad for injuries, apparently, but I don't know. I have to have a look into the science behind it all. But yeah, he would have been. They reversed it.
I'll touch base with you and see if we can sort something, and we'll come up and do a live show from the terraces of Penydarren Park.
Yeah, get involved.
What's the atmosphere like in Merthyr? Is it hostile?
Depends who we're playing. Yeah.
I was going to say, because if the kids played there last night, that'd have been good for their development to play in front of a hostile crowd, especially if it prepares them for the future. Like,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's hostile unless there's a reason for it to be hostile. Or if a player's rubbed the team up the wrong way, it can be a bit hostile. If a manager's played up on the sides, it can be. But no, it's normally like full of chanting. The stand behind the goal is normally rammed, especially the second half. It's a bit like a tin shed, really. The stand behind the goal, so it's just class up there. When it's good up there, it's the best place to be. It's quality, so it's just full of singing, full of chanting. And you can drink as well. You can drink on the terraces. So that's a good reason to come up if you need one.
I'm stone cold sober now, 3 years. So I'm always designated driver. I am, but
we'll have a drink for you then.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they serve Carlin? Asking for Robertsall.
Yeah, they do serve Carlin. They actually got a Carlin mural on the wall up there as well. So.
He'll have that off the wall if we take him up there.
That'll be his new background picture, that will.
Yeah, he will probably.
Right. Last question I got for Merthyr. I don't know if we've got any now before we finish up on Merthyr, but any players, Lou, that there's potential that could go on and progress? I'm not sure what the process is. I've seen a couple of your posts on your podcast, which we'll come on to a little bit later. You lost a couple of players during the summer. But any players there at the moment you think, this boy's got potential, could go on and do bigger and better things like?
There's probably a few, to be fair. But if I had to name one, I'd have to say Ricardo Reese. He's been outstanding for us since he signed for us. And I think to be honest, we signed him as more of a winger than a forward. I think that's where he played most of his time at his previous club. But this is his third year with us now, and he was the league's top scorer last year with 36 goals. But I think in all competitions it was probably over 40. But he's just unbelievable. Am I
right in saying as well he was injured for one game, but he was on the terrace with you boys?
Yeah, 2 Saturdays ago he was he was injured. He's hurt his back. He has. So in the second half, and I could see him walking around by the goals, and I thought, oh, what's he doing? I thought he was just going to have a chat with someone. In the end, he just stood in the crowd with half the boys, and then he came over to us and he was chatting to us, telling us how he got injured and all that. So yeah, but he's out. That's him. He's outstanding, and we're lucky to have kept him. He loves being here. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone big came in for him. But if they pay a few mil, I'll be happy. As long as he get a decent fee.
Is he a youngster as well then? Or what kind of age is he then, right?
I think he's about 24 now. He played for Bristol originally, Bristol City. He's been on loan to, I think, Bath and Salisbury. And who else did he play for? He played for Yate then. So we signed him from Yate, where our manager come from a few years ago. And he's been with us ever since. And every year I thought, oh, he's going to go this season. He's going to go this season. He stayed with us. So he needs a statue built up here, I think.
Fair play. One to look out for then. Ricardo Reese. Happy days. Sign him up.
The new Port
Neymar. So, as we mentioned, going back early days of supporting Cardiff City, what's your earliest memory of going down to a Cardiff game, Lou?
The earliest one was my 14th birthday, I think. So at the time, back when I was younger, I never really had anyone in the immediate family that liked football. You were heavily into your rugby at that time, I think. But I think the first game was Preston North End on a rainy Friday night. Lost 1-0 in typical Cardiff fashion. But can you remember Ninian Park at the shop there? And you obviously every club's got a store, but Ninian Park shop was class. It just had everything in there, and it was cheap as well. Like you could get like tops for like £5. It's probably like 50 quid now for like last season shirt still. So it was just class, and the game was terrible. We were in the family stand, but I loved it. And then after that, I didn't really go for like, I think because like I said, no one in the immediate family liked them. But then our uncle Gareth, he was a season ticket holder, and Auntie Tina said, "Oh, you can go with Uncle Gareth if you want. He'll take it." And he was in the Grange End then for a few games, and I just loved it. It was class. And I think, first game was obviously the one with my mum and Zoe, my sister, as well. But after that, going with our uncle was in the Grange End. Being like 14 in the Grange End was a mental experience. You got
still goes now as well, guy. Don't you? Still
a little bit of fence, and you were like separated from the away team. Remember, we played Wolves once, and I just thought, this is absolutely mental. Like, how am I in here with all these lot? And you got people like rattling the fence. You got coppers segregating you, and I'm like 14 years old. Like, it's mad. But that's what I mean. That's what I was saying earlier. There's no atmosphere now, really, because away fans are. They next to the family stand now. It's the opposite way around. So I think that's what caused the atmosphere to die completely, and obviously the change of stadium. And even though it's like 14, 15 years they've been there now, so it doesn't help. No.
Favorite Cardiff City player from back in the day, Lou?
Well, I wrote this down, and I'm going to say Peter Whittingham for obvious reasons. He was class, and it was just effortless watching him play. Everything he did was unbelievable. And last season, when they should have gone up in 2010, I think he scored 20 odd goals from midfield, and he wasn't really a winger. He wasn't a forward, and he didn't really have any pace, but he was just unbelievable. And some of the goals he scored is mental. But the one that got me off my seat when I was younger was Jason Kumas, when we signed him on loan from West Brom for that season. They just gone back up. We signed him, and obviously under Dave Jones, and he was unbelievable. Just got you off his seat, and he would just score goals from anywhere, scoring free kicks from everywhere. He's like one of them mercurial players, and never really took off for him much after that, especially for Wales. But he was quality. Fair play to him.
Yeah. You see so many former players, and I know we've talked about this previously as well. About, you see all former players coming on and doing podcasts and interviews, but I don't think anybody's ever seen him, have they? Since he finished playing for.
I'm sure someone said he works in a factory now, but obviously his boy's playing for Stoke on loan now, isn't he? So, and also playing for Wales as well. So hopefully he'll be as good, if not better than his old man.
He's half as good as his old man. He's going the right way, isn't he?
I know. When I seen that he was up for loan, I was hoping Cardiff would chuck a little loan bid in for him. But Cardiff's success with Welsh players over the last few years hasn't been great, so now I'm like secretly hoping half of them don't go to Cardiff based on how it's gone in recent years.
Have you had many ex-Cardiff players come to Merthyr since you've been watching?
Not since I've been watching, but I asked the boys earlier because I had a feeling you were going to ask me something like that, and they sent me a list of about 20 odd people over the last 40 odd years. Cohen Griffith, probably the most recent one from memory that I can remember, and that's the only one I remembered myself, really. And he obviously played for Cardiff in the early 90s and ended up with Merthyr. But they mentioned
we've got a signed shirt on the wall there from Cohen.
Oh, there we are. Mark Williams, who said Terry Boyle.
Can you remember that shirt with the South Wales Echo?
That's the one.
Yes.
It's an horrible badge that was on the front of it.
Jimmy Rollo, Mark Walton, Seamus Kelly, Di Thomas, Paul Giles, Lee Skelly, Di Tong, someone said, Roger Gibbons, Lee Badley, Chris Summers, Kevin Evans, and I gotta be honest, I don't know, I might be a bit before.
Yeah, some names there I recall, but there's obviously going back a few years. My memory's not the sharpest, but so. As an outsider, I know we talked a little bit, and I asked Reece at the beginning, but what's your opinion of the current situation at Cardiff, Lou?
It just feels like it's like a merry-go-round managerial-wise, and has been for years, but the ones that you want them to stick by, they get rid of pretty quickly. When you want them to get rid of someone, they tend to keep them here forever. Same with Mick McCarthy, he had probably 10 games more than what you probably wanted him to have. And I feel like it's going down the same way with Bullet, to be honest. And it was when they announced him last year, seen he previously managed, was it Fenerbahce, I think, wasn't it? And I thought, that's a mad appointment for Cardiff. But then I also thought, how has he gone from managing Fenerbahce to Cardiff City? Because it's not what you normally expect from Cardiff to a point. But I don't know, it just feels like it's, I think I said earlier, it's all well and good when you win in and you're beating teams, not playing well, not playing attractive football. But if you're winning, who cares? But when you're not winning, but you're also conceding goals as well, it's just not exciting. And that's probably another reason I haven't gone to watch Cardiff for a long time, is because I keep hearing the football's not great, and it's a lot of money to spend on a boring game of football. Whereas if you pop up Merthyr, you're probably going to see 3, 4, 5 goals. So if you do want to come up, let me know.
No, and you're spot on, and that's what it's been. And the frustrating thing for me was you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt for the first season. Well, this is my opinion only. You kind of give him the benefit of the doubt for the first season because he's new into the English football. The Championship is not an easy league to come straight into. It was well documented last year. Our home form wasn't great. For me, he never looked as if he had a plan B or a plan C if things were going against us. There was nothing in his armoury then that he could do or change tactic-wise, or never come across that way. I don't know if Reece will agree with that. But it was one way, and that was it type of thing. I don't know what your thoughts are on that comment, Reece.
See, I've always been a big Bullet fan.
Yeah,
I thought he came into a difficult job. I can't keep defending him more. He's got time he's got to do himself. But I agree. I think that a few times last year we'd see it. We dominate at the start, stop the press, drop back, concede, panic, and then the last 20 minutes go for another goal and concede again. I mean, I think Coventry last year home, we scored 3 early goals in the first half. Second half, we sat back, invited pressure. They scored 2 goals, and it was nervous time, man. You see them all crumble. I think his biggest issue for me, he's got no leaders there. I think that's the biggest issue he's got now, is not a single leader. No offense to Joe Rawls, I love the guy. He's a great club captain. He's not a club captain, a match day captain for me though. He's not someone you want to lead them. You see when we concede, none of them are shouting. None of them are trying to get their heads up. They're all just dropping heads, going quiet. Not a fan of that. I'll see it. But I think it was nice against Swansea. It was good to see him kicking off a little bit. He's showing some passion and fight. I think you and Fenerbahce managers come to Cardiff. They finally someone with a passion, someone with a bit of oomph. It's going to kick off and for the boots of some people. But to see it finally in Swansea, I think that bought him some time for me. But yeah, I think he does struggle with plan B. I don't know what his plan A is, to be honest. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't think he knows what his best 11 is, does he? In fairness,
I don't know. It's just you watch how individually we set up, and individually, I just find this all wrong. And I just think if only you could just change one or two things, you'd be okay. But he just doesn't seem to change everything. He just sticks to what he knows, and it is frustrating. But again, I've been defending Bullet now for I don't know how many months now. It's time for him to start showing us why now he should be at the job, not have to be defending him anymore.
Yeah,
I've seen I've seen a tweet earlier actually, and it's like I think it's like a Bullet. It's like a fan account, and I think they just tweeted scapegoat or something, and I thought, oh, here we go. But it can't just because there's a lot of good players here as well, isn't it? And it can't all be down to the players. But like you said, if you haven't got a plan B, but you don't really know what plan A is either, is it down to him to sort of tactics out?
I do think this has been coming in mind, regardless of the managers. I think this has been happening for a while. We've been slowly imploding for the last 5-6 years. You can see that with results, cost-cutting measures. The board come out to say, look, we're spending a lot of money on wages, but when you can see there's no clear plan in what they're signing, then you're like, well, what's the point of spending wages? Carlin Grant last year, brilliant player, a proper number 9 in the championship. We signed him to be a left midfielder. And like, do we need that? I mean, Cody Drama is released from Leeds. He's available on free. We don't go for that. We'd rather spend money on, again, Darlin looks like a good player. Chambers looks like a good player, but the wages must be shocking. I mean, Will Fish, I'd rather have Cody Drama all day. But again, I don't know. I just don't know what the plan is above him. I think the club don't know the plan, and they're slowly imploding, and it's just going worse and worse every year. I don't think it makes a difference if Bullet's in charge or not. I think we are slowly creeping down to League One at this rate, and no one's stopping it because Tan just wants to get every penny he can while he can, and then bugger off, I think. And you got Dalman, who's never there. I don't know the last time he was in Wales. You got is it Chu, who runs a car business somewhere in London. None of them care about the club.
Yeah. Reece is on one tonight. Look, Reece is on. He's had his Weetabix this afternoon. He's been to the gym.
He's trying to
his
get
legs, his legs and his arms, his chest are killing. He's letting him rip tonight. You let him have it, Reece. Bye. Just something I wanted to say, and I don't know how true it is, but I've heard a couple of rumours this week that a couple of the senior players have kind of gone in and knocked the door and said, look, we don't kind of agree with the way we're trying to play the game. Again, I don't know how true it is, but if that's the case, do you think, as a comment Paul has just put up in here now, he's lost the changing room. Would that ring alarm bells to you, Lou, if you've got some senior players coming and knocking the manager's door saying, there's people not happy with the way we're trying to play or tactically how we're trying to play the game?
Yeah, I think it's a beginning of the end then. And if he's lost the dressing room, like Paul said, I think it's just going to be a case where you just you're prolonging the inevitable if you keep him on. So I know I agree with Reece as well that it probably won't change if you get rid of but there is a chance that the next man who comes along could install a bit of confidence and they go on a run. You see new manager bounce all the time, so maybe that's what I need. Sam
Allardyce is on speed dial, I think.
The only thing I'll say to this is we don't know how it was done. The players might have just said, but look, can we have a bit more clarity? Can we change something here? And someone's gone, right. The players have gone and spoken to him and said they don't like things. We don't really know how it's happened. That's the only thing. So it might just be a case of players communicating with the manager, the captain saying, look, this isn't working. Can we change this and this? The manager going, okay, we'll have a look at it. We don't know how it's happened. So I think...
I like it. I do. I think, if at the end of the day, if you've got them people in the squad and there's people, and there are issues, then I think, they've got to be voiced. They've got to be put out there.
Yeah. Haven't they? The only thing is, though, they seem to be vocal off the pitch, but not vocal on the pitch. That's my problem. There's no leaders on the pitch, but it is off the pitch. And that's got to change. I mean, you look at our promotion runs we've had. Aaron Gunner's son, leader. Darren Purse, leader. Glenn Newman's leader. Back in them days. Under Malky and under Warnock, it was Sean Morrison, Peltier, Gunner's son again. There was leaders all over that pitch. And I look at him now, and our only leader is Joe Rawls. And again, he's a great club captain. Off the field stuff he does is fantastic. But if you're looking for a leader on that pitch, he's not it for me. I would give anything to have an Aaron Gunnarsson or a Sean Morrison there now, just 20 minutes on the pitch and just screaming at them, tell them what they should be doing, what they're doing wrong, rather than just clapping and standing still and looking around for each other. Guptas, you thought, would be a leader.
Or Bamba.
Exactly. You look at Guptas, a big, tough Greek centre-half, I thought, finally, is a leader over there. He's dead silent. He makes a mistake, his head's just gone.
Yeah,
You're looking at Chambers, Premier League experience. He's not commanding the back lines or nothing. He's not giving instructions. CEO, all right, he's a ball-winning midfielder. He's not a captain. He's too friendly and soft, but he's not someone who's going to get stuck in and drag the ball off the team, get at the pitch and get everyone going again. You need someone who can do that. I just think we've got a lot of individuals. I've got a team right now, and I'm going to lead, isn't it? And it's so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, spot on. We'll move on to Wales then. Just a couple of questions then before we start wrapping up. What was your opinion on the appointment of Craig Bellamy, Lou? Happy with that?
Over the moon. To be honest, I wanted him to get a job when gigs had it in 2018. And now I'm over the moon because obviously to go from Rob Page, who you feel probably did lose the dressing room, maybe, to go from Rob Page. Don't get me wrong, Rob Page seemed like a great bloke, but you can see Bellamy's passion already, and he's in, like I said, I think he only had the team for like 4 or 5 days, so you can see the difference already, especially in that Turkey game, the first half in that Turkey game. I bet you just wish that he was available for Cardiff now, because he could do with someone like that.
Yeah, we was lucky enough. The Sai who does the channel, the ACEpodcastnation and the Cardiff City World. I think it was about a week after it wasn't even a week. I don't think Reece was it after he was announced as manager. We had like a live show down in Splot Cons Club in Cardiff, and Bellamy coming down like a Q&A thing with the fans, like, and just the way he spoke and how open and honest he was. I'd have run through a brick wall for him that night, I think. Do you know what I mean? So just his passion and the way he spoke was awesome, Reece, wasn't it?
He comes across as the football obsessive, and he knows how each individual player should play and what they should do.
Yeah.
And you think this is what you want done again. If you've got someone like that leading it, someone's been there, done it all, he's a passionate person regardless of need, Bellamy. So I would run through a brick wall from him, but to see it on the pitch and against Turkey, I thought it was brilliant as well. It's easy to say what you're going to do, but actually do it is another thing. I think under Page, we've seen. I find it crazy to say Robert Page is the most successful Welsh manager when you see how bad things were under him. And now to see the passion again in the Bellamy and the attacking football and stuff, I'm so jealous that Wales got him and Cardiff didn't get him. But I don't think he'd work for Tan.
No.
Where
do you think Bellamy could take Wales then? Do you think he can take like when Gally Speed came in, he kind of took everything up to the next level again, didn't he? Do you think he can keep progressing that up now? And I think he talked a lot about standards, didn't he, and professionalism and things like that. I just think, I've never really been one to watch much international football, if I'm completely honest with you, but it's kind of exciting now. I think that he's there, he's passionate, and I think it's exciting times ahead if you're a Welsh fan for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Agree.
I couldn't agree more. And I just think it, like you said, it is exciting. But I mean, I don't think Wales have got a divine right to qualify for any tournament. I know we have done really well over the last few years in qualifying. I think Euro, especially now, Euro tournaments seem to be easier to qualify for, especially with the amount of playoff positions you can sort of get. But just to see like a bit of excitement like even if we don't qualify, to see us progressing is something anyway. And obviously the second game wasn't really a football game, but the first 5 minutes was all ecstatic. So I think we're definitely made the right decision, and people are falling in love with him. You see people on Twitter just saying how much they love him already, and what's it been, a week? That's all he's really had with the squad. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously,
exciting times ahead for me anyway.
Definitely.
Well, they've expanded the World Cup as well now.
Say that again, Reece.
There's more teams in the World Cup now. They've expanded the competition.
Oh, no idea.
So I think it's making it easier for like us to qualify. But the big thing is the money we generate from qualifying needs to be spent on grassroots football. Because I know you and Rob were looking forward to speaking to Neil Mooney at the event regarding grassroots football, because your boys played, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I think that's got to be the big focus, is just get the next generation through already, because we can't keep relying on... we had one Gareth Bale, and then we had no preparation for when he retired. So we need to be prepared now for when the next great player retires, when the next Harry Wilson steps down, and we need to get them players ready to step up again now.
Yeah. I bet Gareth Bale has been watching everything that's going on, and I bet he's thinking deep down, I wish I was still here now. I seen an interview the other day, and you could just see something in his eyes, like, and get your boots back on, Gareth. He could still do it, I reckon.
We need a left back at Cardiff, man.
We need a left back, right back, centre half, midfield. We need everything, but
chuck him in goal.
Yeah.
Oh, don't talk about goalkeepers to us, but it's not good.
Not blessed with goalies at the moment, do you?
No. I'm glad they changed. Yeah, I'm glad they changed him on the weekend. Be interested to see what they do now for Leeds. I'd be disappointed if they drop Jack Anick for Saturday, but nothing ever surprises me with Cardiff now. You can predict lineups, and it all goes out the window. But at the end of the day, they see him in training every single day, don't they? And we just see him on a Saturday, potentially a Tuesday, and away we go. Before we go, Lou, I know you've got a podcast up at Merthyr. I know if you can, once the live's finished, if you want to pop the link into the comment section on the video, but so guys can check that out as well. But do you want to talk a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I haven't done one for a while. I don't think I've done one since January or February.
If you're ever looking for any guests, but just give us a shout.
I got 2 years now if we ever want to jump on, but you have to go to a Merthyr game first. But no, it started.
Well, I tell you what, right? That's what we'll do. You'll have to invite us up for a Merthyr game now, and we'll do an evaluation of our experience afterwards.
Yeah, of the carbon chips. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
A question I got for Reece, before you talk a bit more about that: would you have gravy or curry on yours, Reece?
Oh, gravy on chips always.
Wrong.
Can I have half and half?
Oh.
So yes, Lou, thank you very much for taking time out and jumping on and speaking with us tonight. Do appreciate it, mate. Like I said, I'll get in touch with you now over the next couple of days, or if you can send me out perhaps the fixture list, or I can have a look at that anyway online. It'll be easy to access, and I'll have a chat with Reece, and we'll see if we can get something sorted. But then we'll come up and have a little butchers.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it, boys.
Yes, Reece, thank you very much for joining me again tonight, mate. I think you're coming back Saturday night as well.
Yeah, I'll be back Saturday.
Awesome. But just before we finish, you can see the banner going across the bottom. For the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can join the Ace Podcast Nation Patreon. So look into the social media. There's all information on there for that. But last thing to do before we go, Lou, over to you.
Up a flower.
So, bye.
The day I die.